That's a pretty sharp pullback in Stellar Lumens. We are seeing another buy opportunity potential across the crypto space. We had quite the rally over the past several days, a couple of pretty good pullbacks. And if you bought the dip, good job. You are ahead of the game, but we may be getting the other dip we were looking forward to. This is my chart for Stellar Lumens, and it's the 50-minute linear chart. And our development over the past few weeks is that we got 5 waves up from our bottom on February 24th. You can count them right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I was looking for a dip into this box here for our second wave, and we actually did get that dip. I've been sending out notifications in the community posts, letting you guys know about these BTFD opportunities across all the cryptos. And for future reference, please be sure to check those out if you're looking for updates, because I can get those turned around much more quickly than I can get these videos turned around. But at any rate, we have yet another pullback. We got 2 competing alternate patterns here. This blue pattern is our primary, and that does say that this is our first wave up, 5-wave impulse. We had a 3-wave perfect retrace into the box, exactly 61.8% retrace. So this is a textbook standard wave 2. And then we looked like we were off to the races, but I had some doubts when I saw how this thing progressed. Not necessarily doubts that would lead me to believe we have a lower low coming, but whether this was actually a subwave 1 or not. So I was looking at this as possibly subwave 1, but we came up pretty fast. This does look a lot better than Bitcoin and Ethereum, in which we went all the way past the 1.0 extension, some of those. So it's a little less concerning in Stellar Lumens, EOS, some of these other altcoins. But we've pulled back so sharply that I feel that this orange pattern better represents what we're seeing here. I'm not sure this is actually a 1-2. At any rate, we should not have too much lower to pull back if that is the case. So again, if we're following this blue pattern, this is a 1-2. We would invalidate that at about the 0.177, so about 17.7 cents. That would just mean that the yellow is primary, and I would expect our pullback to fall to about the bottom of the previous pullback box. So that's about where we expect to go. Probably not any lower than that. It is possible to go a little lower without validating things, but it's very unlikely we'd see that. If that happens, that means this orange-yellow pattern is our primary, and that would just mean we have a bigger 1-2. Is it actually bigger? Yeah, just a smidge bigger. So 1-2. I don't know what the structure is. I'm going to call this corrective because in other cryptos, this does look like corrective pullback. As a matter of fact, I believe in Ethereum and Bitcoin, this does look like a zigzag A, B, C. And believe it or not, it looks the same way in equities. The stock market has also experienced a pretty good pullback. The reason I bring that up is because over the past month or two, cryptos have been tracking very closely with equities, with the S&P 500, with the NASDAQ. So whenever I saw this big 5-wave impulse in both cryptos and in stocks, that was a key sign to me to look at both. I do spend a lot more time working the equities markets throughout the day. So the patterns are shockingly similar. They resemble one another very closely. Now, is this another good buying opportunity based on these structures? Absolutely. I actually bought half my positions, 1 tranche. I do expect to buy another dip here. There is a chance we fall back down below, but we don't actually have a lower, the possibility for the lower low is very small. We'd have to break all the way down below the low that we hit on February 24th, which we're going to look in just a second. If this really is the second wave, or it's the smaller degree 1-2, we should see some sharp action in the other direction. Shouldn't be much delay on that. So speaking of that bigger picture, this is the daily logarithmic chart for Stellar Lumens. And we did invalidate our green pattern officially just because we broke below this red line, but it doesn't really have much meaning because we just barely broke it. And really, I could move this green C wave down here. Doesn't really make much difference. The red pattern would call for us to drop in this box. I don't see that as a great possibility right now. We're not seeing as much downward action in a lot of other cryptos, and there's a long way down to that box. So this would be about 10 cents. We're about 18 cents. So we need to break through this low first to have any chance of going there. And we're already pretty overextended. We're seeing divergences already in the MACD. It's not as strong in Stellar Lumens as it is in other cryptos, but you can see how we didn't get as oversold on this latest peak. And this latest peak that happened, the peak as a dip, this latest trough on February 24th got even less oversold than before. So you're seeing that divergence while the price kept going down. So these are classic signs of a bottom. Not to mention, we have gotten sufficiently deep for this to be a convincing second wave. And when we look at the A equals C equivalency, well, we hit the 0.764 almost, so it's deep enough. Now, it's not as convincing and complete looking as some of the other cryptos are, but I'm not seeing too much of a setup to go too much lower in other cryptos. So I don't see us going too much lower if we do break this red line. So if we do turn around, where are we looking at for our subwave one? We've got our 5-wave pattern in place as we looked at just before, and our standard extension targets would be between 60 cents and $1.35. That is this bluish box here. That is where your subwave one would be. And you can see that, well, you can barely see how small this rally looks. So this would take a lot more rallying from where we are right now. Probably have some recursive fractal patterns going up. So maybe you have a bigger wave, one that goes like this, third wave, fourth, and then maybe eventually get into the box. So you'll have a few more buying opportunities if you haven't bought just yet. If this is the setup that's in motion, that is the motive pattern, we should expect to see, again, a very strong rally to keep this perspective alive, keep this pattern alive. And the reason I say that is that Stellar Lumens does have one of the best setups based on my risk reward crypto scores. So check that video out if you haven't seen that yet. But I have them ranked by max gains and safety, and a lot of it is based on the Elliott wave pattern in operation. So this is a 1-2 and a smaller 1-2. It appears to have hit the right Fibonacci extensions. So as long as it holds together, held my pattern until it invalidates. There is this blue alternate pattern on this chart, which is different from the blue alternate that I was showing on this chart. This is completely separate. You should probably change the colors. There's a chance that this is actually a 1, 2, 3, and then we finished a 4, and we may have a truncated rally in which this is actually a local top. From a practical perspective, it probably won't make much difference compared to other altcoins. You'll have a deep retrace, but many other cryptos such as Bitcoin Cash are actually following a diagonal pattern anyway. So you'd expect a deep retrace in a lot of these. For all our intents and purposes, it doesn't really make much difference. If we do maintain this path, we've hit just beyond the 0.5 extension of this larger 1-2, and therefore we're going to have our third wave probably extend somewhere between anywhere from the 1.0 to the 1.236 extension. And that's why I have this blue line here. There's actually a lot of confluence for this being a third wave top. And if we build this extension off, 1.32 is a very common standard extension for the third wave. So there's a chance that we get to $20 relatively quick, but we need to have all this stuff happen first. We need that bigger rally into this box and the pullback in order for us to get things moving. Stellar Lumens does seem to have delayed rallies, so you can kind of tell how we had a very slow startup and build up in 2020, and then we just took off in 2021. So don't be surprised if this one's a bit slow to get going. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have a lot of upside ahead. And of course, this is one of my top cryptos to invest in if you're looking for big time gains, max gains. So if you enjoy my video, don't forget to give me a like, and I'm going to keep putting out this content. So subscribe, that way we don't miss any of this stuff. Till next time, thank you for watching and happy trading.